Insights with Terri Ep.153 a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Ep.153. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Ep.153, and we will be discussing the week of January the 21st through the 28th, 2024. Thank you for joining me. I'm so grateful for your time. Something you can't get back, so I hope I make it worth your time to pop in. Now, going to the astrology part, we are still in the Aquarius energy, and that started actually on the 21st. Now, that's what we talked about last week, and if you get a chance, Charlie O'Brien has put up and archived 3 or 4 of the podcasts on the website www.terriworld.com. You can go back and listen to us leading up to this Aquarian energy so that I don't beat you to death with the same information. That Aquarian energy is supposed to make us want to be free. Now, what does that mean? It means that rules don't feel good, or maybe we'll want to change the rules in our lives, in maybe around our cities, our countries, our moral issues. And I can sort of see that coming, not just with myself, but with other people around. I think the general population on a whole is tired of our quote-unquote leaders messing around with lies, just not moral, not afraid to not tell the truth, and have it flung in your face and just stand there and not even blink. So our morals as a group are deteriorating rapidly. And I think as individuals with this Aquarian energy in the first, it's up to each one of us fighting for the ability to maybe be inspirational for and to each other. What would we like done for ourselves? So we get back to the freedom to be ourselves. Maybe that isn't swimming with everybody in the pond going in the same direction. Maybe that's the ability to say to somebody that you care for and want them to be pleased with you, having the courage to say, I don't agree with that, or that's not what I want for me. And when I say standing up, I don't mean that it has to be confrontational and mean and aggressive and bully, and calling people names like so many of our leaders do, but it can be a discussion. And then that Gemini energy that's coming at the first part of this week, which is about communication and looking at how can I make this understood by other people, that's going to give us our words. And don't forget to ask your guides. I do that all the time. Maybe not as much as I should. That should be like constant. But if I'm with a particularly difficult situation for myself or my clients, and when you just feel like, I wish I had the words to make this feel better, to make them feel comfortable, to help them understand. And I'll ask my guides and I ask the angels, could you please put the words that they would understand in my mouth so that they can understand what they're going through and why they're going through it and what this is going to look like on the other side. And that it's completely worth it if we're willing to be open and learn and grow. So that's what that Gemini energy, the first part of the week, is going to offer us. When you combine it with the Capricorn that is in Mercury, the planet of the mind and how we think and how we communicate, and until the 24th, Venus, the planet of love, beauty, and attraction, is in Sagittarius, which is very spiritually oriented and very optimistic. It is the epitome of hope. I hope, and that's what that is. And I do still have hope. And then on the 24th, that turns into Capricorn, and then Capricorn gets realistic. When you pair it with Mars, the planet of our drive and our passion, that as well is in Capricorn. So Capricorn is that energy in all those places to help us look at, how can I get this done? There's a solution here. I can resolve this. I can work with this. We can figure this out. I am not going to give up. And that's where the hope and the resolution come through for this week for sure. Now, the first part of the week, if you have vulnerable areas in your neck, your shoulder, your arms, your lungs, you could lend towards bronchitis, difficulty with maybe a little bit more fluid in your lungs. If you have shoulder problems, they're going to bite you. And then towards the middle of the week, that may move down towards our stomach. So, it might just be that, it just feels crampy. So watch what you eat, watch how you treat your stomach with that energy. And we might be a little more sensitive towards the middle of the week. The energy that is around the very mid part of the week, around Wednesday, is hurt feelings, longing to be with family. Family could cut us to pieces if they're not careful. So we have to be careful with each other, because words with that Gemini energy are going to matter, and be very conscious of how your words are going to land on somebody. And then towards the end of the week, we're looking at the heart, the aorta, our blood pressure, our blood circulation. The heart is our physical heart, but it's also our emotional heart when we combine it with the sensitivity of the middle of the week. So we should be in the heart part of our body this week, caring for others, watching and looking and seeing what's really happening. I do this with the dogs because they can't talk to me, and the dogs are my family, of course. And I look at them and I have to cipher. I have to figure out what are they feeling? Are they feeling okay? Is the tilt of their head all right? Are they feeling up, down, sad, anxious? Do they have more energy than I can wear off with this cold weather right now? So it's about being able to communicate, but not necessarily have the words or receive the words to do it. What am I really looking at here? So many times I'll see a person's words, because I do the readings, don't match what the energy field is, their aura, or their experience. Oh yeah, I'm doing fine. Yeah, no, I knew it had to happen. But that's not what their body and their mind are expressing. So if you can look at it, our body language is much louder and more accurate by a long shot than the words are. So if you can look at it, see what you can do about looking in between the lines this week. It's going to be really, really important. And for the next little bit with that Pluto that has changed, as I talked about in the last podcast, with that Aquarian energy and the sun sign, just look at what do you feel that you're not free with in your own life, and what would you like to change? How would you like to work this? What is it that you could do that would make you feel like you have more freedom in your life, that you are working towards feeling, what's weighing you down? Everybody's different. Might be too much news. Might be too many negative people around you talking negatively. It may be that you need more TV that has uplifting energy and helps us to feel good and happy. A book that is more uplifting than dragging us down. Self-help is a good thing. Self-help is something that we should all be working on, and day to day, minute to minute. How could I handle this better? How could I have handled this better without beating the poop out of ourselves? But then it can get tiresome too when we're always struggling. It shouldn't be a struggle, just like training the dogs, right? It's not a struggle. I make it fun. I get a happy voice. We have the ball. We have the cookies, and do a down, do a sit. Come on over here. Good job. Look at that tail wag. All right. So you want to be happy when you're doing your housework, when you're doing your work at work, when you're doing work, and then take pride in it. I know this is going to sound so weird, but the other day I changed a light bulb and I was so proud of myself. Now, let me give you just a little bit of background. I was scared because it was really high. It was at the top of the peak of the great entrance, which is like 2 ladders high. And I had to go down some steps with the ladders. I had to get the ladders from the barn. Could I carry them? Could I get them through the gate? Could I get them through the door? Could I shimmy them up there? Could I get up on that ladder safely and with one hand change the bulb, take the other one out, change the bulb? really, I thought it was a day's project. Probably took me 20 minutes to do it. But I was so proud of myself when I finished, because being alone, if something happens, you're going to be laying at the bottom of the cement for a while. But I asked my angels, could you please help me feel solid on this ladder? Could you please hold the ladder? I know that sounds so hairy, but it really, honestly, it changed things. It felt like I could do it. It felt like I really did, and I did have helpers holding it. The difference in how it felt on that ladder, reaching way up from the top of that, oh wow. After I asked my guides, really, it felt like I had an army, and I did. So don't be afraid to ask for help from your guides. This is the time to do it. It really is the time to do it. And that heart energy towards the end of the week will be emotional heart, but it will also be physical heart. So if you have issues with your heart, pay attention. Don't over-exercise. Pay attention. It's going to be a vulnerable part of your body towards the end of the week. Now, the number that came to us was the number 3. So that's our number this week. Number 3 on its own usually will point towards mentally alert, trying to get that mind processing really quickly, which is understandable because Mercury, the planet of the mind, is in Capricorn, and Capricorn doesn't sit down and go to bed. Capricorn works at it, wants creativity, which is number 3 as well, in the mind. Thinking outside the box, being creative and original with our thoughts, and it really triggers that imagination. So, if you have a project this week that you want to do, or soon, use that energy to create in your mind with that creative energy. How can I get this done? I'm learning to do this as I get older, to sit for a few minutes with my cup of tea or a cup of coffee and try to visualize the project that I'm just about to embark on, instead of going at it and then mid-strive think, wow, I could have thought this out a little bit better. I could have done a little bit better on this if I'd have thought ahead. But this creative energy and good imagination that's giving to us this week is also going to help you think ahead on your project so you can think it all through. And I've been using it, and it works really well. It works really well. Just give it a thought. Give it a moment to sink in. So you're comparing that energy of responsibility with the Capricorn, of hard work with the creative energy of number 3. It'll allow us to cooperate with others. That Gemini energy combining with that allows people and maybe ourselves to be charming and witty and enjoy it. It's fun to be around people that are charming and witty. And be careful of being critical of others. This is an energy field that can have that happen, especially with that Leo energy towards the end of this week in the moon. I was watching a scenario the other day. It made me sad. 2 sisters that really care for each other, really do care for each other. But the one sister, and she's technically oriented, I got to give you the background on that. She's very precise, and her job made her be very precise. It required it, or there'd be death of people and animals and things, so she had to be precise. The other sister was a lot more casual. Now, through the whole conversation, the one sister kept correcting the language, how she was using her words. It was right on her all the time. To the other sister's credit, she didn't take offense. She did get quiet for a little bit, so I could see she was processing it. And I think it did hurt her feelings looking at it. I could see she was starting to move back, to remove herself from the conversation. And I was trying to figure it out. Was that one sister, even they love each other, so was that one sister criticizing or correcting because she needed things right? Or was she correcting because she didn't feel good about herself and maybe making another person that maybe she admired or was a little jealous of without knowing it, was trying to put her back in her place? I don't know. That would be something for us to talk about sometime. Because I think a lot of times we do things we don't realize that we're doing. or we say things that we don't realize how they land on us. And that is what this week is about. Being very cautious about being critical of others. We go back to that book, The 4 Agreements, and one of the first agreements is be careful what comes out of your mouth. It should be absolutely perfect, because we can make things happen when we use our mouth for negative energy fields. So I think, as a species, we have to learn to be more diplomatic. We've lost diplomacy. We've lost politeness. When somebody's really polite to me, I'm almost stunned, because, you almost get away from somebody being polite to you. And when somebody is caring and polite and thoughtful, it almost takes your breath away. And how wonderful is that? Now, I just pulled a couple of cards for us all, and I would just like to briefly discuss it with you, if I can. The very first card, many of the cards that I pulled are physical cards in nature, which is money, security, comfort, health, body. So it's going to revolve around our physical experience in this life that we're in right now. The first card that pulled is be careful of holding too tight to your money. We don't want to be stupid and spend when we can't spend or can't afford it. But this could lend towards fear of not having enough, fear of maybe going down a slippery slope with our finances, fear listening to the radio about how recession and listening to the fearful comments that our leaders are giving us, like, if you don't vote for me, we're going to have a depression. If you don't vote for me, we're going to lose democracy. If you don't vote for me, the hoods are going to take over. It's all fear, and some of it's warranted and some of it is unwarranted. So what they're asking us is for you to look at what do you need, what are you afraid of, what can you do about it, and how can you make friends with this. They're asking us to look at our fiscal management. Don't get silly. Be sensible with that Capricorn energy. That'll offer that to us. Don't let fear of failure stop you. Try to own the energy of caution in a healthy way. Puppies, little tiny puppies show me that all the time. They come out of the box, and at first they're not afraid of anything. They just go tumbling out, not a care in the world, till they get stepped on, banged into, run over with other dogs, turkeys, chickens. Things hurt, and then they start to realize, wow, this world's not as safe as I thought it was. Now, do we let that fear take over, or do we recognize what we're afraid of and what can we do about it and how do we handle it? And that's what they're wanting us to look at. They're also asking us to, in wands, which is the power of the soul, what our guides are giving us to learn for our soul. And this is the number 7. Number 7 in numerology is a very fortunate number. A lot, give me 7, give me 7. Lots of people think number 7 is a very powerful, and it is. And it's the choice. It identifies choice. It identifies wisdom. Divine intervention, divine order, fate, and we are in that this week. Divine intervention. Don't be afraid to ask your guides, your angels, God, whatever you find comfort in, your mother that passed on, all of the above. It's okay to ask for help, and this is the courage. This particular card is the courage to do that. So number 7 often indicates a turning point in our life, where we look for and take a position of advantage so that we can win. This isn't winning at other people's loss. This is all of us winning. I win when everybody wins. If I'm doing a reading and I can just in some small way help a person understand what's going on in their life and give them the tiniest little bit of comfort, we win. Because that's what we're supposed to be doing here, helping each other, but winning at enjoying our life and taking that success and working towards a better future for ourselves. That's where we are. Now we have to be careful because the next card is the 2 of Swords. It's upside down, which can indicate some of us will experience some, I'm going to say mental imbalance, which means our mind won't be thinking correctly. I run into that with myself. You know, like you live alone, you start getting lost or drowned in your own thoughts that might not be balanced. They feel balanced till you say them out loud and you think, well, that doesn't make sense. Sounded good in my head, but boy, oh boy, that doesn't look good on paper. So that's what we need to do with this Gemini energy, is maybe find a trusted friend and share what your thoughts are, what your feelings are, in a safe environment. Don't do it with somebody that's going to whack you in the back of the neck with your words after. And see how it sounds out loud. Oftentimes, I will just sit and talk out loud. Partly it helps my memory, because I might think of a number in my mind and try to get from the telephone book to my telephone, and I can't remember it. But if I don't know, if I say it out loud and I hear that number, it sometimes comes back to me a little bit easier. So maybe use that little trick of speaking out loud some of the things that you want to remember or you want to understand. Anxiety might be a little bit high this week. That is the card that came up. 5 in numerology is anxiety, struggle, and it's in the physical realm. So, you know, there's a lot of pressure with the news, with us struggling to fill the gas tank. What's new? Now they're talking about the EV cars not working. I mean, some people are really positive with it and some people are really negative with it. And then you'll listen to something and it just tears you down because you think, what's going on? Such direct opposite thoughts with all the data, it seems, to support them. What are you supposed to believe? This sounds right when you're listening to it, but that sounds right when you're listening to it. And how scary is that when nothing is the truth and nothing feels solid? So we may start working on some watery grounds there. So just go back to where you feel comfortable and then move forward. And the High Priestess, which is a major card, came up, and that's about inspiration. It's about intuitive energy. It's about listening to that intuitive part of ourselves. It's about listening to your angels, to your guides, to that power that's outside of ourselves. Now, this particular card came upside down, which means that many of us will not listen to that inner voice. It's the upside down, the antithesis of it in its natural position. So, and some of us could misuse that intuition. I've seen that where people will say, oh, my guides are telling me this and this and this. I'm thinking, no, I'm listening to this. It's something that you want, but your guides aren't saying it. Now, how do we decide what's the difference? That's a lot of nuance, but it's also a lot of practice. So with the High Priestess here, it's suggesting that we pay more attention to our true needs and our true feelings, not what's being told. You know that commercial Mando and all the body parts that are so stinky? I have to say, I have smelled the odd stinky person, but you smell the odd stinky dog or the odd stinky horse or pig or chicken. But my gosh, it sure does make you feel sensitive about how we smell. And we got to have the whitest teeth, and our eyes have to be bright, and our hair has to be shiny, and our stomach has to be in, and you have to wear this particular clothes or you're not going to be chic. Holy Toledo! Holy Toledo! I mean, how does anybody even walk out the front door? So all of that kind of energy, the High Priestess is saying, is this even necessary? Use your instinct. All right, so then have a shower, do the best you can, and be on it. But holy Toledo. So let your unconscious mind tell you things that are going on. Don't be unwilling to listen to it. Don't be unwilling to proceed. And remember that a lot of people around you this week are going to be emotionally sensitive. And if you can be kind and recognize that and maybe look to say, instead of criticizing or instead of putting somebody in an uncomfortable place, how can I help them be in a comfortable place? How can I make them feel better? Again, I want to truly thank Charlie O'Brien for putting us on Spotify podcasts, Apple iTunes, Amazon Music podcasts, SoundCloud, and YouTube. He will give me the link, and I will put the YouTube link on there, and I will post it on Facebook for the link as well. And if you could, just take a peek at Charlie O'Brien's GoFundMe page. I also will put the link up there if you could help him. It's for the Big 8 radio, and he great sounds on there. He helps so many people, and let's see if we can help him as well. So I'll put that link up. And if any of you want that link, please email me, terri.coutts@gmail.com, or you can call or text 519-726-6699, and I can give it to you. I'd be so grateful for you helping him. As well, if you need a reading for yourself, or you need some insights on your, no pun intended, on your dog's behavior, and you need some help with training, give me a call at that number, 519-726-6699, or text, or email me, terri.coutts@gmail.com. We'll set something up and spend some time together and see if we can get this resolved. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week. Hopefully, we'll be in touch with each other next week. Have a good one. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com, TERRI world.com.